My name is Christopher Storer. I work for Yarmouth School Department in Yarmouth, Maine. I'm a transportation director.
How long did you drive for?
I was a school bus driver for 11 years before becoming a transportation director. And then I moved up to being a transportation director, where I've held my position for 6 years now. And I still currently drive on a need-to-need basis.
Awesome, cool. What is your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
Favorite memory would have to be when I picked up the kindergarten student for the very first time, and they were so excited to get on the bus. And every day they brought me a lollipop because they saw that I was handing out dog bones to dogs.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
What is something that you miss?
I miss being invited to all the graduations. I miss seeing them go from kindergarten all the way up to the grades. I miss working on homework projects with them or giving them advice on what drinks are cool to drink or what sports they should do or what they should do when they graduate.
That is so sweet. You can tell just already talking to us that you were like a good figure in their lives all throughout the years.
Definitely, So it's very, very rewarding career,
How is it rewarding?
So I can tell you that when you give a kid guidance and they take that guidance and they excel in that class after struggling for so long, but yet they used your guidance that you gave them, and then next thing you know, they brought their grades up or they achieved something that they wanted to because of your guidance, that's the most rewarding part. It's just seeing those kids excel.
That's awesome. What piece of advice would you give to incoming bus drivers?
You gotta love kids. You gotta love kids, and if you're going to go into it at a younger age, because the school department is very flexible, and it's just such a rewarding career. And if you do it long enough, you can make as much as a lawyer. You can make as much as a doctor. It all depends on what you want to do. We always have extra trips. We always have field trips during the day. So it's really a career now versus where it was just a part-time job before.
So please introduce yourself and what school or district you work for.
My name is Jenny Chase, and I serve RSU 68, which comprises of Dover Foxcroft, Sebec, Charleston, and Monson. However, I work for Rowell's Garage. We're a private contractor. I may be the one and only that you run into today. I chose this profession because I had young kids at home. When I became a bus driver, I had a kindergartner and a first grade. And I chose this profession because I never missed a single field trip. I never missed a single sporting event. Everything they were involved in. And then I had a third child, and for that one as well. I've never missed an event. And then I started having grandkids, and I haven't missed any of their events. So that is the biggest plus is you're on the same schedule as your kiddos are for school. So if there's a school, a storm day or whatever, you don't have to worry about sitters and transportation and whatever. So you're on the same schedule, and then you don't miss their events if you are willing to take their events.
So what's your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
My favorite memory out of 39 years.
Yeah.
Only one.
Well, tell me a few. We're all telling you that all day.
And then you can edit, okay?
All right.
Okay. So one of my favorites was, and this tells you the scope of bus driving, kinda, because you can't do that in a 5-minute interview. But I had a little guy. It was afternoon dismissal. I picked up and I had a full bus load, and I hadn't even gotten across town to get to the high school before he's wheezing. He's actually sitting in the front seat and he's wheezing, and he said, I said, what's so pain? I'm scared. We was having an asthma attack.
Aw.
And he didn't have an inhaler. And this is back before cell phones. So hard for you to understand how we deal with these things, probably, and we don't have radios. because there's no reception up there. So, so I got to the high school. I had somebody run in, use the phone quickly, call my boss, have somebody meet me at the hospital who could take over my bus run.
With a full bus of kids.
With a full bus of kids, I had somebody ride, and he was a licensed driver, and he did. He met me at the at the hospital, and I had pulled in, and I honked the horn until somebody came running out of the emergency room, and they said, "What's going on?" I said, "I got a kiddo here with an asthma attack." I said, "I've got another driver who's going to take over, and I'm coming right in," because we couldn't get a hold of his parents either. And I didn't want him to stay there alone.
Yeah.
So he saved all his favorite candy that year out of Halloween to give me. But all his Milky Ways and peanut butter cups, I got them all. He was so sweet. It's a very rewarding job. There's a lot of fun times, a lot of funny times. There's some stressful times, snow days, kids misbehaving, disrespect, parents. But with good support from your supervisor, from your school's administration, which I have the best, it can be a very rewarding job. It may seem overwhelming, and it certainly did my first year. It was overwhelming, and I thought, what in the world am I doing here? And here I am 39 years later, and I can't think of what I want to do when I grow up other than this.
Wow, that's crazy. What is a piece of advice you'd give to new incoming drivers? With all this experience that you have, what is something you'd tell them?
Seek advice from their administrator, their supervisor, not the other drivers.
That's fair enough.
They will all give you their opinion, but it may not be what you need to hear, because your supervisor may know things about that child that they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kids. And just because I heard this phrase this at this conference, and it's just because it may sound fair, it may not be equitable.
Yeah.
Fair is not always equitable. And so children go through different things, and there are kids that go through things that no adult should have to go through, much less kids. So we have to show compassion. We have to, make sure that they're following the rules that we want them safe, but we're also raising humans, and we got to do our part in raising humans, because really we're just part of the village.
So please introduce yourself and what school or district you work in.
Sure. My name is Lenny Goff. I am Director of Transportation for RSU 18, which is Oakland, Belgrade, China, Sydney, and Rome. Probably my favorite memory is the individuals that I were able to touch as far as personally. A lot of times never know when you're going to impact a child's life. And usually it happened when I least expect it. So
yeah, and what's something you missed?
I miss not driving.
You miss not driving?
Yeah, I miss, I always considered driving the school bus an extension of my family.
Wow.
And it was kind of like a family. My kids all understood. The older kids looked out for the younger kids. I didn't have the issues of bigger kids picking on younger kids, because they knew big kid is going to take care of it all. But no, that it was more like a family. It really was.
And so what's one piece of advice that you would give to an incoming bus driver then?
The thing that I always tell my driver is that kids want to be respected, and that they will pay you the respect that you pay them. And I always tell them, don't forget that kids grow up to be adults, and they remember how they were treated when they grow up. I've been at this is going on my 39th year, and I have a lot of grandchildren from kids that I carried on buses.
Wow.
I can count on one hand the number of kids that wouldn't come and see me if they saw me. They personally come and come up and want to talk.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So please introduce yourself and what school or district you work for.
My name is Richard Jandro. I work for RSU 18. That's Oakland, Belgrade, Rome, and Sydney, and China.
And how long have you driven for?
I have driven for 28 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
It sure is.
So what's your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
I guess one of my memories that kind of stick out in my mind, we had an emergency in town, and I was on my bus run, and I usually have certain individuals on my bus that help me out. One of my students, which was a senior in high school, actually got off the bus. There was a gentleman that fell in his driveway, couldn't get up with a walker. And she assisted him because as bus drivers, we are not allowed to get off the bus once we have students on the bus. She ended up assisting him until rescue ended up getting there to help him get back up. He wasn't injured. And at that point, everything went on as the day. 2 days later, she actually nominated me as Hero of the Week. And a local radio station in our area, actually picked me for Hero of the Week as the bus driver.
That is so cool. And is there a piece of advice you would give to new incoming bus drivers?
It is a great job. It really is. If you enjoy kids and you want a job that is fulfilling, bus driving is the way to go. It is kind of challenging sometimes, especially if you only have a morning and afternoon run because it's not a lot of hours. And that's why bus drivers are hard to find.
Yeah.
Because it's only a 4-hour job, and a lot of people cannot live on a 4-hour job.
And so how do you find bus driving rewarding?
How do I find it rewarding? Dealing with my kids every day. I call them my kids. I have several kids. I have, like I said, after 28 years of driving school bus, I'm actually also a DJ. I've been a DJ for 40 years.
Wow.
I'm actually doing weddings of kids that were on my bus 20 years ago.
That's crazy.
So that's the rewarding part of it. Still, having that
Connection with that.
connection with my kids.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Hi, please introduce yourself and what school or district do you work for?
My name is Lisa Gadway. My previous school district was MSSC 75 out of Topsom. I currently am not working at a school district. However, I do sub-drive for SAD 49 in Fairfield.
What is your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
I think it would be when I very first started being a bus driver. I was driving a special needs run, a little challenging with some of the behaviors, but my bus was also a bus that students on regular bus runs, when they had challenging behaviors, came onto my bus. I made the bus run engaging and interesting. And oftentimes when it was time for them to go back on their regular bus run, they didn't want to go back. So for me, it was very enjoyable to see students have that behavioral change just based on the interactions they had with me.
That's amazing. I'm sure they're so grateful and love that memory every day of having the fun bus run. What is something you miss?
Being with the kids every day and interacting with them. They can be a source of great joy and entertainment. And while sometimes difficult situations arise, we're able to come to an understanding of expected behaviors and consequences that might come from those actions they choose to engage in. And also it's life skills on how they can interact in society when they get older.
And how rewarding did you find driving?
Very rewarding. I found that I was developing skills both socially and as a parent on how to handle different types of situations and behaviors that was my opportunity to teach a young person how to interact in society.
It's a great environment to be able to do that. Yeah. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Chris Pisciuto. I work for RSU 21. I'm the transportation director there. I've been there for, it's my third full school year.
What is your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
Just the interactions with the kids every day. Some of the funny things that happen. Just recently I was covering for one of my drivers when that driver was out, and I had, they were probably young elementary, probably second, third grade, came on the bus, said, "Oh, this guy's going to get lost." And then they looked back to the other girl behind her. She said, "Yep, he's going to get lost." They sat down, and then afterwards, as they got off, the little girl was like, "Actually, he did pretty good." As they're getting off, saying to her sister, I was like, "I'm okay. I feel pretty good about myself."
Like,
Yep.
cute. How rewarding do you find driving?
Driving is, I think it's amazing. I think it's a very rewarding job. I think a lot of people should consider it if they have it. It is a critical link between kids getting to school. I mean, across the state of Maine, doesn't matter if you're, as far south as Kittery, all the way up in Fort Kent, or anywhere in between, provides a critical link for kids to get to school in the morning, get home, and without buses, there's a lot of students that wouldn't be able to get to the crucial things they have every day at school.
Please introduce yourself and what school or district do you work in?
I'm Wayne St. Pierre from RSU 39 in Caribou, Maine.
How long did you drive for?
I started driving in 1978.
Nice.
And I've been with Caribou for 30 years.
What is your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
Just the interaction with the kids. Always had good interactions. We had even the kids that were the problem kids. I always tried to make an interaction with them and have them sit up front and talk to them and stuff.
That's awesome. What is your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
My favorite memory is just all the kids. I've been doing it so long, so had some kids that I had hauled their grandparents, and just talking with them that that I hauled their mother and fathers, and one of them I had hauled his grandfather. So it just it's good memories talking with them and telling them how good or bad their parents were on the bus.
That's amazing. That's cool, like a full circle moment.
Yeah.
What piece of advice would you give to incoming bus drivers?
My biggest piece of advice is, if you go get into the industry, you got to love kids. And you got to treat them all the same. Whether they're the baddest kid on your bus or the best kid on the bus, you treat them all the same. If you make a relationship with them, call them by their names. I know when I drove, I knew every kid's first name and last name, and when I met him in the morning, I'd say, "Welcome and have a good day." And at night, I always told him to have a great night. And I think that's the biggest thing, getting a rapport with the children.
Mm-hmm. Treating each one with respect.
Yeah.
How rewarding did you find driving?
Oh, I found it very rewarding. But when I drove, it was nice. You made relationships with your children, and they were my kids.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and what district.
David Levitt, Support Services Manager for RSU 54 Skowhegan. Prior to that, I've been there 10 and a half years. Prior to that, I was at RSU 9 for 33 years.
And what's your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
I think it was probably the first time I was filling in on a bus run and dealing with kindergarten kids, just because they'd hide behind the seats and you couldn't see them, and getting them home safely. It's just, you could always see the big smile on their face.
What's something you miss?
I think that's because I drive very little now, and it's greeting the kids at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, just trying to make a difference for them, just to, be pleasant. show them courtesy and respect.
Yeah, and you've had a lot of experience in this field. So what's some advice that you would give to incoming bus drivers?
Well, I think what's important is you need to like kids, because it's not just a job. A bus driver makes an impact. You're the first person to see kids at the beginning of the day, and you're the last one to engage a kid, part of the school system at the end of the day, taking them home. And it's about respect. Respect is a two-way street. Give the kids respect, and you'll earn the respect from them, and treat them decent.
And how rewarding is bus driving to you?
Oh, I think it's amazing. I mean, it's just, it's not a glamorous career for a lot of people, but it can be, because if you're long-term and you see a kid start out at kindergarten or even pre-K, because you transport pre-K now, and then you watch them grow to a point where they're graduating from high school.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And when you haul, if you're on the same bus run and you actually haul generations of a family. I can recall personally myself, I had one bus driver the whole time. So
yeah, me too. And unfortunately, she got done driving bus when I went into middle school, but she drove our bus all my whole elementary school. We loved her very much. So
please introduce yourself and what school or district do you work in?
My name is Sarah Moran, and I'm the Transportation Director at MSSC Bonnie Eagle.
How long have you been driving for?
I started driving when my daughter started kindergarten. So I drove bus every day for 12 years, and I've been working in the office for the last 7.
What is your favorite memory of being a bus driver?
There's so many. You never know what the kids are going to say or come up with. But probably my favorite is a conversation between two kindergarten, first grade girls behind me. They're talking about their eye color, and one told her little friend, "Your eyes are green and they're very pretty, and your eyes are blue and they're very pretty, but nobody has prettier eyes than me, because I have rainbow eyes, because it takes all the colors of the rainbow to make brown eyes." I just thought that was the most adorable thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, I've never heard that perspective. That's awesome.
Somebody's teaching that girl some self-confidence.
What is something that you miss about driving?
I miss the energy from the little kids. And yeah, because like I said, you never know what they're going to come.
What piece of advice would you give to incoming bus drivers?
Find the gems in your day, because no matter how challenging the day may be, there's always a bright spot, and if you focus on that, you'll find more of them as you go.
How rewarding did you find driving?
I've been doing it for 19 years. I was going to drive until my daughter started middle school. She's 25. My son is 22. And I have a passion for the work that I do.
Just find each day, just love it, getting to know the kids.
Yep. I don't see the kids as much anymore, but I enjoy mentoring drivers and helping them to find a balanced perspective.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.